Virtual Reinhardt here, walking you through the solution and grading of the sample free response question team. And if you have not completed this, I would like you to make sure that you do it. I'll go through the details in a second, but make sure you write it down by hand. We're practicing that process because that's how you will likely do it for the AP exam in the spring. So your job was to define the team class to make this main method work. Okay, so a couple things to notice. You have two constructors because Sport 1 is made differently than Sport 2 just based on the parameter list. And you have a method called getWinPercentage. So you do not need to edit this class at all. You just need to write the team class to make it work. If you didn't know what win percentage was, you take the number of wins and divide it by the total number of games. And that will give you the win percentage. And it's generally represented not as a percentage. Oddly, it's a decimal. So here's this again. Go write this down on a piece of paper and come back and see how you did. And here it is. So the first thing that you needed to do, as with any class definition, is define all the variables. Reminder, the three parts are define variables, constructors, methods. So we're going to go through all those 15 points. So you have all six, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables here that are required. You need the sport. It's got to be the right data type. The gender, got to be the right data type of string. It's got to be the wins, losses, ties, all as integers. So that would be 3 points. Again, this is out of 15 for the correct variables. Now, depending upon how you did it, you need could use a good season variable, but you wouldn't necessarily need to. You could make a method that produced that message, whether they had a good season. More on that in a minute. And you might have a win percentage variable. There's a couple of ways to do this. So I'm going to go through the way I did it, but ask me if you're not sure if yours is right. So first of all, you get 1 point if you have this constructor somewhere, and it has to be in this order. It's got to be string, string, int, 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 and those represent the sport, the gender as strings, and then the wins, losses, ties, and then 1 point for properly initializing all the instance or class variables with the parameters. Remember, its parameter on the right is assigned into the instance variable. So that constructor is worth 2 points. And you have to have both of those parts done. Now, somewhere you have to set the good season or determine how or if they had a good season. Here's how I did it. You would not need to have done it that way. Again, the good season was defined over here as having more wins than losses. More wins than losses was a good season. So if I go to back to my team, and then second constructor, same idea, except there is only the sport, the wins, and the losses, because not all sports are gender specific, and not all sports have ties. So you same thing. You needed to have that. It needed to be string int int for sport, wins, losses. So that's 1 point for the constructor header, it's called, and 1 point for initializing all the variables. Now, it's kind of up to you how you wanted to label the gender, or the variables that are not there. But the way it displayed down below, football was an NA, so it did not have a gender specific. So that's just noticing that was part of it. And then similar thing, if wins was greater than losses, you had a good season. Okay, that needs to be in there some way, somehow. Again, there's multiple ways to do that. Finally, the last method is, so again, we're on the 2 of 3. We have instance variables, okay, right up here. Class variables, we have constructors, 2 types, and then we have what those objects can do once they're made, the methods. And the only method we had, you could have 2 or more, was get win percentage. And this was 1 point for the method header and 3 points for the calculating win percentage correctly. And what that means is that you avoided integer division. Okay, you have to cast that. That might have been a review. And then you take the wins divided by the total number of competitions, and then you need to return that. Now, that would need to be a double. That's why my method header says double right up there. So I hope you did well. Contact me if you're not sure whether your solution is correct or for any other reason. So see you soon.